Hello everybody, welcome to today's webinar of ADJ's Stay Connected. My name is Edgar Bernal. I am the East Coast Regional Sales Manager for the company. And today I'm excited. Our episode today is going to feature a lot of details and a lot of tips and info about lighting and how it can be used for everything from your restaurants, clubs, bars, lounges, all of that good stuff, as well as from your mega clubs to maybe some of your smaller nightclubs where maybe they're like jazz clubs or some sort of like specialized club atmosphere that you're looking to add to your venue. And we're going to cover a few topics. Of course, this is a live webinar, so we're open to questions. I just first off want to give thanks to our team here that we have. We have Mr. Jake Rhodes, our product specialist. He's live in as well, and as you know, he does a great job with everything that you see here. All the programming and all the beautiful looks are all due to this man here. And I also want to give a big thanks to Candice Cardenas, who is our video producer for ADJ. She does a great job with all the videos that you see online. And we're here together, kind of the trifecta, to give you hopefully all the info that you have. But please, if you have questions, feel free to ask at any time. So we're going to get started. And as you see behind me, we have a very nice setting here. And what I wanted to talk about was ambient lighting. Now with lighting, there's a lot of things you could do. And I know, especially for, I would say, some of the smaller clubs and lounges, one of the biggest questions I always get is control. And one of the beauties with ADJ and even ADJ as a group of companies, we offer so many forms of control, from your most entry level, where controls you can take control of on your mobile device or an iPad or a tablet, to computer console type of controllers where you can interface a nice little DMX dongle to your computer, connect that to your lights, and program your lights with computer software, all the way up to consoles, which we offer from our sister company, Elation. And with all of those, you're bound to find a way to get the most out of your investment, especially when trying to create an atmosphere for any type of idea that you have for your club. So I wanted to point out really quick here that we have a great look, which is featuring a lot of fixtures from static wash. We have our beams, zoom wash fixtures, as well as video. So we're going to get down to the details of all of those. But one of the things you always want to keep in mind is choosing the right lights that are going to not clash with each other, looks that are going to give you kind of the idea that you want. And one of the big keys, or one of the tips I can offer, is when you're programming, or let's say you're setting the atmosphere in your venue, just go ahead and step back and take a picture of it. Because when the audience or when your clientele is coming into your venue, that's what they're doing. Whether it's someone's birthday, if it's a special event, they get that person in the picture, and they don't want just that person in the picture. They want to get the background in the picture as well to help them remember that event. And if you can just step back and think as they would to take a picture, it's going to help you with setting just the right look. And as you can see behind me here, we have a great look to where we have the LED video going. But one thing to really point out, you can see right above, we have our dots matrix, which is one of our staple products for the company. And the dots matrix, I can tell you right now, is turned down, what would you say, Jake, at about 20% or so?
It's super dim. Yeah, those are really bright.
Yeah, so it just gives you an idea. If, you know, sometimes power, you know, if you think of a vehicle like horsepower, if you think of LED with lumens and wattage and all that good stuff, whatever's printed on the box, you know, those are features, and thankfully a lot of the fixtures in ADJ are feature rich. But as far as what's going to work for you, as you can see here, they did a great job. Jake did a great job of really toning down the dots matrix so it could just give you a nice little eye candy effect, but give you a nice wash to kind of play with everything else that's in here. And one of the really important things to point out as well is spotlighting on me is our Par Z move, which I wanted to just quickly talk about this, not get too in depth on it, but some of the really key and important things for you guys, especially I would say if you're a restaurant slash club, restaurant slash lounge, is really paying attention to CRI, and as well as what we've been doing with a lot of our LED color mixing fixtures, whether they're movers or statics, is you'll start to see a lot more where we put a dedicated DMX channel where you can actually control your values of your white balance. So it's almost like having a dynamic white fixture in any one of your fixtures. So our Parzi move that's shining on me now is fixed at a 3K, so that's a 3000 Kelvin fixture, which is a very, very nice warm white, as you can see here. But we have another version of this fixture, which is an RGBW. And with that, you can imagine, with 4 DMX channels of color control, it would be really, unless you're really good at it, it takes some time to find a 3K by adjusting your values. But by using that channel, we give you the ability to easily call upon a 3K channel and or look. So that way, if you have incandescents, lamp-based fixtures that you're trying to match color, it makes it a lot easier. So that's just one of the things to point out about technology, and as far as how far it's come now in our industry to be able to match colors from your R's, your reds, your blues, your greens. I was going to say RGB, I'm just so used to saying that. But any of your colors with color mixing fixtures, you can easily get those colors to match to get kind of a room that you're looking for. Now, the next thing I wanted to talk about was another advantage with, I would say, technology and where we are now is a lot more fixtures that are coming out for your venues, your clubs, lounges, are now LED. It used to be a lot of incandescents from, mini pars that had little MR16 lamps and fixtures that had the old ELC lamps. I remember back in the days when I was in retail, I sold a lot of our Mighty scans and Pocket scans because those were so great for compact, I would say smaller venues, just to get a lot of bang for your buck. And but now thinking about it, we offer those style fixtures where now they're all LED. And one of the advantages with that is now your cost for power and efficiency on power, where a lot of these fixtures, they actually offer power pass-through. And the big key about that is not having to worry about so many extension cables or outlets. Now with these fixtures, you're able to, on most of them, link up to 6 to 8 of these fixtures. So now imagine you have just one home run for power, and that's daisy chaining the rest of your line and supplying power for all of those. And for power linking cables, we have all of those, from the blue connectors to your IEC connectors. We got you covered for anything that you're trying to link. But it's a huge thing to really pay attention to what your power is and what the fixtures can handle, because the more you utilize that feature on your fixtures, it's going to save you a lot of time as far as having to get an electrician to get you a whole new power drop. But now being able to just power link these, it's going to save you a lot of time, and as well as a lot of money, because since these are LED, it's not going to be drawing a whole lot of power. I mean, you're talking about 6 to 8 fixtures on 120 amp circuit, and that can run just for nice for your event or for your evening or whatever it might be. And there still is a place for lamp-based fixtures. And one of the things with ADJ now is a lot of our lamp-based fixtures are in our movers. And the reason for that, which we'll get to in a second, is that there's still that need. And this is where I would think this falls more into the category of your mega clubs, your super clubs, where for example, there's a club here in Hollywood, California, that they actually have a balcony up. And there, the programmer, he uses some very, very nice lasers to just do a nice crowd scan over the balcony area to just really, really give a wow effect. But it might be challenging with a huge venue like that to use an LED-based fixture if you're really trying to get that long-distance throw of a beam. But using a lamp-based fixture, those just have tremendous power to get you just the look you're looking for. Whoa. And also for, if you're doing prisms, if you're doing a color combined with that, reduced gobo, whatever it might be, having a lamp-based fixture to back you up for that power is really going to be advantageous, because you're going to be able to get that throw and still get that wow factor. So those are just some key things as far as, covering your ambient lighting, making sure that you're using your lighting with a controller that you're comfortable with, and getting the setting for your evening. It's just like music. If you've ever listened to a DJ play any set, and thankfully during these times right now, there's a lot of DJs that are doing live kind of webcasts where they're doing their mixing. But you'll notice there's usually a peak, there's a build, and the same thing can go with your lights. And the more you do this, you'll start to see that you're starting to create a show and a feeling that people are always going to remember, and they're going to keep wanting to come back. So we covered a little bit on that. We covered LED, kind of how that fits in, the advantages you get by using LED fixtures in your venue, and also the needs for lamp-based fixtures. So now what I want to do is I want to show you some of our fixtures. We have quite a bit of our lineup in here. To go through all of those would be a full day. I'm willing to do it. I had enough coffee, but I'm going to try to stick this to just some of the key products, some of our staple products, and also some of our flagship products, which we have on a table right next to me. We'll get to those in a second. But Jake, if you don't mind, the first one we're going to start with is one of our newest, and I would say instantly became hottest club fixture. This is also great for production. It really has a lot of applications, but for this specific webinar, I'm going to just stick to the clubs, lounges, and all that good stuff. So excuse me if I just keep on one path, but it's our Jolt 300. And our Jolt 300, it's really a compact fixture. It's no bigger than a shoebox in size. And so many times I've gone out and done demos with these with my reps, and maybe I've come to your store, maybe I've come to your warehouse, and instantly you see it and it doesn't look like much until you plug it in. And it's powered by 288 half-watt surface mount LED diodes. And with that, you get, right above me, you get RGB on the outers. And in the center, you get your cool white LEDs. And you can see it's just incredible as far as the amount of coverage you get with this fixture. Now, what's great about it, it's probably one of the best strobes that ADJ has ever come out with, a true strobe where you get that very, very fast strobe rate, your frequency of your flashing. It's insane. It's super bright, but this is just two of our fixtures, and it's covering our entire showroom here. So the great thing about this is it is super powerful. It might be messing with the exposure a little bit, but that's one of the key things, again, with talking about control, where sometimes I've done to show the eye candy on this effect is tone it down just a bit, maybe bring it to 10%. So that way, whoever I'm showing this to, or if you're pointing this at the audience, sure, you want that blinding blast, maybe for any peak of the evening or the song, but if you want to just eye candy effects, a nice kind of just almost like a just twinkle effect, because you do get zone controlling on this, you can get that as well as with the Jolt 300. Again, since it is compact, power draw is very low on this fixture. And again, power linking comes into play with this, where you can link several of these fixtures. And they're designed really just to allow you to get creative, because we chose a very, very compact version. So that way you can get creative. You could put this just about anywhere, add this to any show, and you're instantly going to get a wow factor in your show without having to worry about a huge bar or brick to add and something that's going to suck a lot of power, and it'll make it challenging to find where you're going to want to put this. But a nice LED fixture with some very cool zone control. One of the things I like about it too is you see the colors that are happening. When you do a full on, what I like is the RGB, it's certain color temperature that it does, perfect, is matching the center. So it does give you that full kind of blast of a wash strobe. So again, that's our Jolt 300. Has a couple different ways of mounting. It does come with a bracket, so you could place a clamp on if you wanted. There's a bracket that'll go directly onto the back of the unit, so it gives you the capability of hanging it directly on a pipe or strict down. But that's the Jolt 300. Great static strobe effects fixture that, again, because of its compactness, doesn't draw a lot of power. And as far as anything that's out there, super affordable. So adding several of these fixtures is not going to break the bank. So that's the Jolt 300. And of course, for any information on any of these products, you can always go on to adj.com And we have these listed with full photometric results, details, specifications, just to give you the idea of what these really do. But today we're just going to be covering kind of just the wow effect and what these fixtures do to give you an idea for hopefully your venue. Now, as far as the next fixture we're going to cover is also a linear fixture, but it's a moving, tilting linear fixture. And this is one of my favorite fixtures. It's called our Allegro Z6. Now, the Allegro Z6 has a lot of features. I'll try to just go over them really quick. It's powered by 6 30-watt LED chips where you get red, green, blue, and white. Very beautiful fixture. Right here you can see that on each one of these, the red LEDs are chasing. So yes, you do get zone control of each one of those pixels. This does feature zoom. So you can get as narrow as 4 degrees and open up to 32 degrees. So, I mean, that just looks really cool. And that's, I mean, on this camera shot, just 3 of these fixtures. Very fast, smooth tilting. So not only do you get the zoom, you get the tilting out of a very nice, compact, linear fixture. And what I really like about this too is it does give you an RJ45 connection. So if you're using our ever popular Media Master, use the CleanNet mapper, you can actually map these out. And if you have them, let's say around your video, and let's say you're playing some visuals, you can actually tie these into your visuals. So now your fixtures are going to be matching what people are seeing, whether it's through projection or LED screens. It's just going to give you a whole nother dimension to add to your show where it's going to really make your stage kind of come to life or your venue come to life. But that's the Allegro Z6. Again, you have your tilting, you have red, green, blue, and white control. Each one of those cells producing 30 watts of power. And as far as some of the kind of the guts of it is, it just takes 2 Omega brackets, so 2 clamps, and you can clamp this fixture. It has 5-pin for DMX in and out, so it makes it easy to tie into any rig. And again, you have the RJ45 connection. And of course, with this LED fixture, so you get, again, the power linking. So that's our new, that's the Allegro Z6. Now we're going to get into, oh, we have a question.
I just wanted to chime in too. Something that I really like about the Allegros, and they're also one of my favorite fixtures, is that you can actually put them right up next to each other to create a seamless flow. So if you want to create like a seamless flow of light, almost like a curtain, these are really great for that.
That's a great point. Thank you, Jake. And yeah, and one thing to mention about that as far as the body cosmetics of the fixture is to help you with aligning these, it actually has pins which you can slide out. So when you place them next to each other, it'll help you align them, especially with linear fixtures. Jake did a great job here to have them kind of perfect. You can see it creates a nice curtain. But you know, let's say if you were setting these up and you wanted to make sure they were all aligned, so that way when you do any position, they're not going to be offset. Those teeth are going to help you out to make sure the alignment is perfect. Thank you, Jake. So that's our Allegro Z6. Next, what we're going to get into is our Focus series of fixtures. And in our Focus series, we have some fixtures from spots to beams. But the first one I'm going to point out is our Focus Spot 2X. And our Focus Spot 2X, again, came out late last year. But instantly has become a go-to piece for many venues that are looking to add a fixture that is, again, feature-rich, compact, not drawing a whole lot of power, really just a simple fixture that gives you a whole lot. So you can see here, this is 2 of our fixtures. With this, you get a color wheel that has 8 colors. You have a gobo wheel, which features 6 gobos, which can be interchanged. So you can place a gobo in for a special event you might be doing that evening into your fixture. But just a lot of features as far as, check out these gobos that are projecting right now. They're creating some very nice aerials, and you can see it gives you an idea of a 100-watt compact fixture that is giving you a lot of bang for your buck. Again, this is pretty decent sized showroom. I would say this is pretty comparable to a lot of dance floors or, you know, just even just stages that you might have. But if you have this over a performer, this over an audience, again, put a little bit of smoke in the air and you're going to see these very nice aerials that are being produced by a very compact fixture in our Focus Spot 2X. So again, with 100 watts, there you can see some of the nice strobing. And that's actually a quad color gobo that we're using. And by using the color wheel to scroll through it, because it is an RGBW gobo on a metal gobo, it's creating that really nice kind of pixel effect. Yeah.
Someone's asking, how does this work into nightclub and bars? Like, what would you use the Focus Spot 2X for?
That's a great question. The Focus Spot 2X, because of its nice beam angle, you're going to use this more for a spot. And for a spot, I didn't really get it too much into that, but I guess now is a good time to do it. With fixtures, you have your spots, you have your beams, you have your washes, and you have hybrids. But with having a dedicated spot, what you're going to do is you're going to have a very, very sharp edge. You can take this out of focus if you wanted, but typically you want to have a nice sharp edge so you can see patterns, you can see aerials, but this is your perfect crowd scanner where you're going to have this just going over the audience, something that's going to have a very, very wide amount of coverage, so that way you don't really have any dead spots. But as you can see here, this is perfect. I mean, imagine if I were the performer, if I were the DJ, I had this right over me and I'm playing my music. I mean, if anybody took that picture, especially if it's a well-known DJ, I mean, that's going to make the shot just look even better. But again, with these being so compact and affordable, you can add several of these. I would say for your venues that have no more than a 25-foot ceiling height, this fixture will be great because, again, it's powered by a 100-watt LED source. You get prisms, you get gobo rotation. It really gives you a lot. But to add this as an extra atmosphere to give you sharp gobos and wide coverage, the Focus Spot 2X would be great for that. And speaking of spots, since we're in the Focus series, let's talk about a beam fixture. The next fixture I wanted to point out is our Focus Beam LED. And our Focus Beam LED has a very, very sharp beam angle. What I really like about this is 80 watts of LED power. So it's super powerful, super efficient. With this, you get 13 colors, which you're seeing there. It's very, very fast color scrolling that this can do. If you wanted to have some very, very fast color changes, you could do that. But you also get 15 gobos, which are stamped gobos. They pretty much stay natively sharp in this, let's say, 3-degree beam angle. Very, very sharp. But now, again, when we went from our Focus Spot 2X, which was a spot fixture, now we have a beam fixture. And what would you use a beam fixture for? If you've watched any shows on television, let's take Dancing with the Stars, any rock shows, Super Bowl events, when you look at the rider, if you get a chance, go online, check out the rider for any specific show, and check out how many beams are being used. Because beams, I imagine beams when it's the peak hour of a venue, if it's the peak moment of an event, if it's a sporting event, it's when the team scores the game-winning 3, or just hits the grand slam in the 9th inning. The beams are what you're going to want for an impact to really make a statement with your fixtures. And because of their power, they shoot a very long distance. Because of their narrowness, you get very, very nice, sharp beam effects. With the Focus Beam LED, again, you have your colors, your gobos, but you also have 2 prisms. And right here, we're using our 6-facet linear prism, which I love linear prisms because now you get, almost a vertical plane of projection, but with rotation, you can have that going counter or clockwise. And with this, you also have an 8-facet circular prism, which you can overlay. And with that, with individual prism indexing, you can actually rotate them in opposite directions and create an effect just like you're seeing here. Combine that with some color, and it really gives you a whole lot more than just a sharp beam fixture. You can get a lot with the Focus Beam LED, and that's what we usually try to do too with our fixtures is not, if you get a spot, if you get a beam, or if you get a wash, a lot of these fixtures are going to have, they're not going to just be a one-trick pony. They're going to have multiple effects to really give you a lot for your investment. And that's where the Focus Beam LED with your colors, your gobos, 2 prisms, as well as even a frost where you can just really just soften the edge of that beam and get almost a wash effect out of the Focus Beam. It gives you a lot of bang for your buck. But again, with incredible optics, with an 80-watt LED source, focus beam LED, I would say for a venue of just about any size, this is going to give you that wow factor that you're looking for. And again, with beams, that's what you're going to need if you're really trying to make a statement at any time during the event or evening. Have beams shooting around a room, much more effective with some smoke or haze in the air, but it's really going to give you that wow factor.
So what you're saying is that your beams equal party time.
Beams equal party time. Yeah, I would say that. And that's a cool look. Good job, Jake. So yeah, that's our focus beam LED. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to get over to our Visi series. Now with ADJ, we have everything from our Focus series, Visi series, Hydro series, which are some IP65 movers. But our Visi series has been pretty much a flagship line of ADJ for many years, at least since I've been here, which is close to 10 years. But the first one we're going to talk about is our Visi Wash Z19. Our Visi Wash Z19 is an incredible fixture. It's compact. It features 19 cells that are using 20-watt LEDs that use red, green, blue, and white for colors. Now with this, one of the cool things you could see is that it does give you some zone control. So with the Visi Wash Z19, you get 11 zones of control, which you can use for eye candy. What I like to do is, you call upon just maybe the center pixel, and you get what looks like, maybe from the audience perspective, a single source, little LED mover, turn the whole guy on, then you really make, that splash or that wow. But with this, as you can see again, even though it is a beam fixture, it is a zoom watch fixture. So with this, you can get as narrow as 10 degrees and open up to 60 degrees. And so you combine that with your eye candy, 19 by 20 watts of power. It really gives you just about what you need. And with our Visi series, if whatever size venue you are, this is going to be a great addition, because with our Visi Wash Z19, it doesn't sit too high or it doesn't hang too low from your ceiling. So you can have this, and it's not going to be something that's going to stick out too much. We had a club in Manhattan that installed 4 of these, and ceilings there are probably about 10, 12 feet. And with the Visi Wash Z19, they don't stick out too much from the ceiling, but when they're zoomed out and they're scanning around the crowd, dance floor area, or even lighting the artists, sometimes they have jazz artists that go in there, it can really give you almost like a Swiss Army knife effect of a light, where you have your beam, you have your wash, and you have your eye candy, giving you kind of 3 elements for your venue. So that's our Visi Wash Z19. If you needed more power than this, there is the big brother, the Visi Wash Z37, which now gives you 37 by 20 watts. Kind of the same concept, but again, more power, I would say, for a larger venue. Now, oh, we have a question.
What purpose of wash fixtures, what's the importance of them in a club environment?
Wash, I would say, is very important, because wash is kind of like when we started this webinar, we had kind of a wash look where the room was blue. And what you do is, let's say this is the welcoming hour. It's the beginning of the evening. What you can have is a wash, which is your kind of ambience of the room. But now imagine you start taking those and start moving them. That's going to give people the impression that the venue is changing, the night is changing, or maybe even just the mood is changing. And with that, by adding some movement, you're bringing kind of an element of life to your event. And so that's where having a wash fixture, a movable wash fixture, comes into play a lot in just about any lighting rig, because you're going to want something that can, light the stage, light the performers, but if you need to scan the crowd, light the crowd, you're going to have color going everywhere with that 60 degrees of coverage. But again, if you need that beam effect, narrow it down to 10 degrees, and now you're going to get these really cool beams, which are going to look great for your event. So again, washes, I would say, if you have the triple threat with your beam spot and washes, you're going to be pretty much set for your events. Hopefully that answers your question.
This is my comment too. Something that we actually did, and we were kind of working backwards as well in the future of this. Our Visi Wash Z37, as you mentioned, which is the bigger brother, we just added a new software release where it actually features a new dynamic white channel mode. So that's version 1.3. So if you guys don't have Wash Z37s, you know, reach out to us. We'll give you that upgrade. And again, that's awesome because you can do everything as Edgar's saying, color, effects. But now you can also achieve a balanced light wash for washing as well.
Nice, very great point. And again, you know, with our RGBW color mixing fixtures, we're offering that channel to give you the quick go-to to get just about any white temperature that you're looking for. So great point, Jake.
And would it be good to light people up as well?
Oh, definitely. And with having a dedicated white channel, what that does is, if you're not familiar with color temperature, color rendering, that's a whole other can of worms. But just to give you an idea, I would say this is big for restaurants. If you have, let's say you have a very picky chef in the back and he's bringing out a plate of food, maybe before the dancing and all that started, if you're a restaurant / club, they're gonna want the food to look as it should. If the salmon looks purple, that's gonna cause some concern. But with having the right color, having the right color temperature, things are gonna look as is, especially for performers. You bring in a top level DJ and he's playing and he looks like Barney. I mean, that's not gonna go so well for marketing. I mean, maybe for someone's post, but if you're the venue and you're using that picture to post online that we just had so-and-so here and here's a picture, and they don't look as they should, I mean, you know, it might get by, but to have colors that really make people, props, I would say decorations, food look as they should, that's where rendering, color temperature really comes into play. And the more you utilize those, you're gonna get everything that you want to look as is and as it should look. So hopefully that answers your question on that. So we're gonna move on from our Wash series to, I would say, our flagship in our series. This is our CMY 300. This is a super feature-rich product. I sometimes always forget a certain feature on this, but I'm gonna try to remember the best I can. Our CMY 300 is using a 300 watt LED light source. It features a zoom range of 8 to 46 degrees. So it's incredible. 8 to 46, you know, we always hear numbers all the time. You know, there's 10 to 60, there's, 4 to 32, 8 to 46. What do those numbers mean? This really comes into play when you start projecting these, because with zoom ranges, if you're zoomed all the way out 10 feet, you're getting nice coverage. Zoom that out 100 feet, you're gonna have a giant spot all around your venue if you're a larger club. But having the ability to have kind of a motorized zoom on a fixture is huge, because you can have your gobo be as large or small as you want to your liking. And with hybrid fixtures, there's a lot of advantages now that come in with these hybrid fixtures. I would consider our CMY 300 somewhat of a hybrid. It might not be a super sharp beam that you want, but as far as having a spot fixture, a wash fixture, this is perfect. And with that zoom, if you're zooming in and out, it's gonna give you somewhat of that beam effect. And with this, you have two gobo wheels. So you have your static wheel, you have your rotating wheel. You can do some very, very nice color morph effects. So what you're seeing there, it almost looks like almost projection, because one gobo is behind another, and by using the focus channel, it's actually morphing between the two channels. With this, you have a 3-facet circular prism, as well as an 8-facet circular prism, which you can use together. You can layer those two prisms on top of each other, have them rotating in opposite directions, create some very nice effects. This is a great look. This is, wow, that looks great. This is zoomed out with our rotating gobo wheel with the 3-facet circular prism. Sounds like a whole lot, but really when you do that, this effect is gonna be something that when you're trying to cover a very large space and area, combine that with 300 watt LED source that this unit is backed up by, it's gonna give you that power that you're looking for. With this, you do have, as well as a frost, so you can actually soften the edges altogether and have a wash effect. But since we're on this fixture, we talked about the importance of beams, spots, and washes, and there are pros and cons. You know, sometimes you're gonna need just a beam, sometimes you're gonna need just a spot, sometimes you're gonna need just a wash. sometimes you're going to need a hybrid. I would say not to shoot myself in the foot, but there are pros and cons. Some of the pros of having a hybrid is you have one fixture. When that fixture needs servicing, it's not going to be a whole bunch of different parts. You're calling on parts for one fixture, Visi CMY300, not to get confused with if I'm ordering a part for a spot when I meant to get one for a beam. It helps with kind of preventive maintenance and having peace of mind knowing that one fixture supplies all of those. Now, some of the disadvantages I would say is, imagine if the Swiss Army knife was your only tool in your toolbox and you lose that. That's what's going to happen with having a hybrid if that's just your fixture. So it is important to have multiple fixtures, layers of lighting, where you can have almost a backup plan. But having a hybrid, if you feel comfortable, you do the proper maintenance, this guy will supply all the needs that you have. But I hear a lot of times, why do I need a hybrid? Why do I need just a wash? Why do I need just a beam? And again, it's really preference, what it all comes down to. But as a manufacturer rep, I would just have to say that there is a place, there's a time for all of these fixtures. And now with hybrids being out, kind of same with 6-color par cans, you have kind of the one-stop shop. This will do everything that I need. If I have the proper program to run these fixtures, I can get just about any look I want, from a beam to a spot, zoom, wash, all of that good stuff. So that's our Visi CMY300. And those are just some of the fixtures that I just quickly wanted to point out that we have up on our rig. Now we're going to have a little bit of fun. I'm going to talk about our atmospherics. And atmospherics, I would say, is another level of kind of atmosphere that you can add to your event. And so the first one, I'm going to go over here. So this is our Entourage Ice. The Entourage Ice, we showed at our nightclub and bar convention show about 2 years ago. And this stole the show. This is a unit that, I'm just going to open this up really quick. So I know you can't see it, but you could always watch a demo video online, but you could see the door easily opens. This is where I drop the dry ice. This is where I fill it up with water. Those are the only two elements that I need. Close it up. And Jake has been so kind to prepare this unit for us. But what does low-lying fog do? Low-lying fog is a great way to add, just an extra element of a wow factor to your event. And with this, one of my biggest memories with using our Entourage Ice is we did the Mobile Beat show last year. And with the show, we had, Mobile Beat had a great performer in Run from Run DMC. And I'll never forget when he came out to start performing, we activated 2 of our Entourage Ices, and it looked like he was on clouds. It was just a really, really cool effect. And what I like about it, with dry ice, it really stays low to the ground for a long period of time. And again, real simple operation. With the Entourage Ice, you can get either DMX control, manu control. You could set it on a timer if you wanted. But you have your hose here too, which is great because you can extend this underneath a table if you wanted. This goes good for even mobile entertainers because a lot of times you don't want your unit going all around. I'm sure, it's on wheels, but sometimes you don't want the people to see the machine that is supplying your effect. So this makes it great to be kind of concealed and out of the picture. But again, with dry ice, water, heat up time of close to 2 hours, it makes it very, very easy to add this element to your events. So that's the Entourage Ice. I think we're still warming up. So once this is ready to go, we'll get this going. But I'm going to show you a couple other of our effects. Oh, Jake.
Can you talk about residue that's left over by the Entourage Ice?
Yeah, residue is normal, I would say, with just about any machine. From fog to haze, residue does happen. And since this does require heat, anything that's hot once it goes away, it's going to leave some sort of residue. Not dirty residue, if that makes any sense. It's not going to be something that's going to stain. It's really just moisture, and it's not terrible. We've demoed this on some very, very slippery floors. I've seen people in high heels. I've seen shoes that look like flip-flops, and no one, thankfully, has slipped. It is going to create somewhat of a slip hazard for maybe if someone's running by or they try to slide in front of the machine, but for the most part, what a lot of venues and event specialists have done is once the effect is done, just get a quick mop and mop it up real, fast, and then you're good to go. Generally, the residue buildup doesn't go more than 6 feet. So if I'm about here, I'm not going to have really nothing to worry about. The effect goes a lot further than 6 feet, but to have, literally no residue anywhere else other than where it's shot out from, just because of all that heat that it's taking, it really doesn't make for a lot of concern. So I don't know if we have any other questions, but we're going to go over to our next machines. So these are also part of our atmospherics. This is the first one we're going to talk about is our Entourage. The Entourage is a great machine. It's a 1,500 watt fogger. I'm sorry, 1,400 watt fogger. And the reason I say fogger, even though it's Entourage, it's actually a fog machine. It's using our water-based fog fluid. And with this, you do get interval control, duration control, as well as DMX, and of course, manual control. So with this, I can use this as a fog machine where it's just going to start coming out. But with these have been really great to add to venues where you wanted something. If you're not familiar with fog, haze, all that good stuff, general rule is a fog machine is going to give you that blast of a cloud of smoke. Very popular for many, many years in venues. But that's the blast effect, I would say. Where haze machines, phase machines are giving you the look that you want. I mean, we have a perfect amount of haze in this room. That's gonna, as you saw with the beams and spots and all that good stuff, it gives you that nice effect. So you can see the aerials, you can see the prisms. That's just that extra element to allow you to see your lights better. But having a machine that can control the amount of output from your fan control and your output control, you can fine tune it to where you're not walking into a venue that's full of smoke, but your lights look good. Everybody can breathe normal. It really gives you a lot of control to make sure that you have the look you want without having to choke people. But with the Entourage, this unit is built into a road case. If you're removing it in and out of your venue, if you didn't want these out all night, it makes it nice when it's in the road case to bring in and out. But we have another product that's called the Entourage Venue, which is basically the same thing, but outside. So it's an exposed with a head bracket, so you can hang on truss if you needed. But again, a 1,400 watt machine that uses fog fluid and gives you, whether it's heavy or light smoke, just to create that right atmosphere. Now, as far as another effect that is a wow factor, I would say is our Fog Fury Jet Pro. Now with our Fog Fury Jet Pro, this is a 1,550 watt fogger. Warm-up time is about 9 minutes. But with this, as you see there, you get red, green, blue, amber, and UV LEDs. And with that, combine it with some smoke, and you get that almost CO2 effect with color. The Fog Fury Jet Pro uses the same fluid as our water-based Entourage, but in this machine, we have our quick dissipating fluid, which means it's going to shoot higher and it's going to disappear quicker, so you don't get that lingering smoke around the area. And with this, you do have a little remote for control. And with the unit itself, the tank, it can be placed in 2 different ways, where you have setting like this where the fog can shoot up. You can also use a clamp and shoot this at the crowd. But you could take that tank and place it on the other side and have this over, so now the fog is shooting down. So it gives you a lot of ways to use the Fog Fury Jet. This is the bigger brother. We have a Fog Fury Jet, Fog Fury Jet Pro. I would say the Jet shoots about 25 feet, the Pro 40 feet. So if you really had high ceilings and you wanted that smoke to go all the way to the ceiling, the Fog Fury Jet Pro would be the way to go. And with this, it also gives you the advantage of wireless DMX. So now if you didn't want to run a home run cable to the unit, if you're using ADJ's Wi-Fi technology, you can easily use this as a transceiver. It's got our Wi-Fi technology built in, and control it wirelessly, whether it's DMX or the nice remote that's included with the machine. So that's our Fog Fury Jet Pro.
All right, watch out, Edgar.
All right. That's really fun. And the best thing about it, buddy, it's just you know, going through the colors. You saw the UV there at the end. It's just a super cool effect. My hand's not on fire. But when you think of CO2 machines, you think of licensing, you think of costs, think of refilling CO2. Fog juice is far more affordable, far more easier to get. And with a machine like this, it's basically a fog machine, so servicing this is very, very easy. And again, with our products, you get a 2-year warranty, so it really backs you up whether you're using these. I get a lot of questions. How long does the blast last for? And how long until you can blast again? I've used these in light shows where I've blasted these for about 20, 25 seconds. And literally within a minute, it's ready to go again. This uses a very, very nice thermal system where it heats up just to the right temperature, doesn't overheat, and it tries to stay warm as long as possible. Initial warm-up time for this is 9 minutes, so under 10 minutes, and you're ready to go. Usually when you light up your rig, it's well before, you know, maybe the crowd starts coming in, but fast warm-up time and an incredible blast effect. Fog Fury Jet Pro is a great solution if you're looking for that CO2, whether it's up smoke, down smoke, at smoke effect.
Let's can you sweep back that camera up so we can see just how high it goes? The camera doesn't do it justice.
Oh yeah.
It goes all the way to the ceiling and even more than that.
And again, with this machine, we're using our quick dissipating fog fluid, and see there, it's shooting all the way up. It's really incredible. These are 3-watt LEDs. So you can see, I mean, probably with my reach, maybe I'm reaching close to 6.5, 7 feet, and it's going well above that. So it gives you the nice color, it gives you the nice bang, it gives you the nice fog, and again with fog fluid, quick dissipating. You can see here, there's no linger. All that's left is everything that's coming from our Entourage, is our haze machines. But the smoke that this created, the effect is now gone. So it dissipates quickly, which means you're not going to have a linger, you're not going to have a big cloud of smoke that's going to affect, let's say, your picture. If it's that particular time of the evening, you need the blast, and you want it to go away quick, the Fog Fury Jet and Pro give you the ability to do that without having that cloud of smoke if you don't want it. But again, you can use it with the heavy smoke, which lingers, or the quick dissipating, which goes away quickly. Any other questions? Yeah.
Can you talk about cleaning the units a little bit?
Cleaning the units, yeah, so there is maintenance that we recommend. You can always contact our service department. They have a particular method to cleaning machines or recommendations that they might have. But to get a lot of, I would say, longevity out of your fog machines, maintenance is super important. Any machine that's creating kind of atmosphere, maintaining them is very, very important. But with machines, there are ways. You can always contact our service department. I don't know if any of our service guys are online on this webinar right now, but they can always help you out with that. But yes, maintenance is recommended and available for our fog machines.
And just one quick line of blog on the Entourage. In some of the Entourage series, it actually has a self-cleaning mode, and it'll just basically burn all the residue that's inside of it if you're going to store it. I know one of our reps, Mike Turner, he keeps an Entourage in his garage, and when he goes to play with it, he'll turn it on, and then he'll throw it back in his garage for a whole month just sitting there, and he uses the self-cleaning mode, and it just cleans everything out, and he'll bust it out, and it'll be ready to go 100% a month later.
Nice, great point. Yeah, so with our Entourage, it does have self-cleaning, and makes it almost carefree, peace of mind with your machine without having to worry about servicing too much. So maintenance, again, available on our machines. So let's talk about our fixtures over here really quick. We showed you some fixtures up in our truss, up in our rig, if you will. But we're going to show you some now up close. And some of the fixtures I pointed out are two of our, I would say, kind of staple products. They're more of on the affordable side of our products. But something, again, when you think affordable, it's not lacking of any features or output of any sort. It's really something that you can get a lot of bang for your buck, because what we know is sometimes 1, 4, 8, 12 fixtures is not going to cut it. This particular fixture, I have a good friend out of Georgia who does a lot of skate parks, and he uses these to create almost a cloud effect around the venue, and it really makes for a great effect. And when you start talking about 20, 30, 40 of a fixture, it can really add in cost, but with something that's affordable to still give you the effect without having to break the budget. This is our UB12H. With this is a Hex Color Bar. It's a linear bar that's 1 meter in length, and with this you have each cell that's producing red, green, blue, white, amber, and UV for color. So you get just about any color that you're looking for. With the linear fixture, as I mentioned, you can use these as a nice kind of cloud effect. I've seen these used behind sofas if you're just trying to light up columns, walls. Linear fixtures are great for that because they have such a wide throw, and they just do really well with uplighting against a wall. You have your nice feet on here, which allow for that. So you can place this, right in the ground, point it up, and now you have your uplight or downlight, because with these brackets, they also have the M10 threading. So you can place an O-clamp, any kind of clamp on here that's compatible with M10, and now mount this so you can have this down. These are also great for eye candy, because since you do have cell control with these, you can actually do some nice chase patterns. Again, since it's LED, it's very, very low on the power draw, so it's super efficient. So you can link several of these fixtures on one 20 amp circuit. This uses the IEC connection. So just by power linking these, you don't have to worry about a whole bunch of extension cables. And it has a nice menu for automatic control if you want to just to set and forget to any particular color. This has 63 factory programmed colors. So any color you're looking for, if you didn't have time to program and you wanted to just set them on color 31, let's say, you could just set it, forget it, and it's going to stay on that color for the duration of your event or evening. But with DMX control, take it a whole step further, do some zone controlling, some nice color mixing, strobing. Gives you a lot of capability out of a linear fixture. And again, very low on power draw, 6 colors, and very nice output. We can't see now, but in a second, we're going to get our camera shot on this side of the room. We have a nice white curtain on the opposite side, which we're going to show kind of the throw of these fixtures. So real quick, the next fixture I want to talk about. Oh, we have a question.
So you mentioned that it's a hex fixture. So that also includes a UV chip. Can you talk about how UV can be nice inside of a club atmosphere, or what's uses for a UV chip alone?
Yeah. All right. Great question. And I'll try not to stay on this too much, but I love UV. UV is a great way to add another extra element for your event. UV activates anything that's reactant to ultraviolet. And now you're talking about paints, you're talking about maybe existing artwork. If you've ever been bowling, when it's cosmic bowling, and all the bowling balls are lit up and they're glowing, that's the reaction of UV light. And with our UV fixtures, now you have that extra UV color to give you that effect. And just like with cosmic bowling, I mean, hopefully that answers your question. You have regular bowling, then you have cosmic bowling, which is more fun. So it gives you kind of the idea, it gives you the ability to call upon UV, but not just UV too. Because you have UV in there, you can actually mix that with other colors. For example, one of my favorite colors to mix the UV with is red. And it really creates a nice, I would say a hot pink, almost a super rich magenta. Combine that with blue, you get some really, really nice accents of that UV to add to that color. But again, if you're using any kind of artwork, if you're using UV reactant paint, and maybe have messages that activate only when UV turns on. Hey, you can have UV painted happy hour, shoot it with a UV fixture. Now everyone sees happy hour and then it goes away. I mean, it just gives you ideas of what to do with UV. Now, as far as UV, ultraviolet is a spectrum. So our fixtures generally are around the 395, 400 nanometer reading. And what that means is this is giving you a lot of purple light. So if I had just this fixture on, you could see the purple light that's coming out of it. And the reason for that is it's doing kind of almost its job, which is a linear fixture, an uplight fixture. So it's creating candlelight, so that way you can have not just a dark area, but you're still getting your UV effect. We have a new fixture, which is part of our Encore series, our Encore Burst UVIP, which is also an ultraviolet fixture, but a 365 nanometer. So the lower you go, 365 being our lowest fixture, that's non-visible purple light. So that's giving you your UV effect where nothing is purple other than anything that's reactant is pretty much charged and just really, really glowing because of these fixtures. So hopefully that gives you an idea of how to use UV fixtures. Again, you can combine them with colors, use them to make anything stand out in your venue, glow parties. I mean, there's a lot of different ways you can use UV, and it gets fun because, you know, nothing's better than when you're a part of a show. If you're glowing as well as everything else, let's say, you know, someone's wearing a white t-shirt, white collared shirt, anything that's reactant is going to glow. And to see the effect, if you didn't have anything that's UV reactant, just pull out your driver's license or a credit card, place it in one of the fixtures, and you're going to see it glow. That's the effect caused by UV reactant items. And UV reactant paints and artwork is all available. It just gives you another way to add an extra element for your event. Okay. So the next fixture, oh, sorry, I spent a little too much. I almost passed up our little InnoPocket Z4. So this is another one of my favorite fixtures. This is our InnoPocket Z4. This fixture has been in existence with ADJ for going close to 6 years now. And with this, as you can see, it's a very, very compact unit, but packs a punch. This is using 4 10-watt LEDs, which are RGBW, so you have red, green, blue, and white. With this unit, you get zooming, so you can get as narrow as 10 degrees, open to 40 degrees. 40 degrees out of this little guy, but super compact. I can pretty much just pick this up very, very easily. It has one U bracket that you could place on the bottom and place a clamp onto if you needed to. But imagine if this were in a venue and this is hanging down. You can see here it's not hanging down super low. So if you had short ceilings and you still wanted the zoom wash effect of something like our Wash Z19, the InnoPocket Z4 now gives you that capability. And again, with this, you see these 4 cells that you have here. I know it's kind of tough on the camera, but you actually get crisscrossed zones. So you can create some nice kind of color chase effects to give you some eye candy. And with the zooming, with the beam effect, and you get this nice zone effect, InnoPocket Z4 is great to add, whether you're doing a few or several of these units. You can really get a nice effect with the InnoPocket Z4. We really made a statement at an LDI probably about 6 years ago where we did a grid of these. We did 6 across, 4 high, so it was 24 of these units, and they were just doing caterpillar effects, doing strobe, randomized strobing. That really set, I would say, the lighting world for ADJ on fire because it was such a compact fixture that, again, doesn't break the bank. It's super affordable, and you can add these, and as far as power, it's super low on the power draw, so you're not going to have to worry about adding a whole nother circuit. If you're replacing, let's say you have an old, outdated par can, but you wanted to add a little bit different of an, kind of an element, InnoPocket Z4 is going to be something that's very close in cost, but now gives you movement, zoom, and color chasing effects. So that's our InnoPocket Z4. So now, I kind of saved the best for last. Actually, no, not yet. But we have 2 brand new units. I'm lucky enough to have these two bad boys with me here today. These are our new, I would say, flagship fixtures for each of the lines. Our Visi Beam 12RX is our first fixture. And again, we're going to show you, this is just to show you the cosmetics of the unit. We're going to show you the throw of them in just a second. But our Visi Beam 12RX is, I would say, the killer of beam fixtures. This is powered by a Philips Platinum 12R lamp, super high in output. But with this, if you're familiar with our Visi Beam 5RX, this has a lot of the same bells and whistles that the 5RX had, but now with the 12RX, go ahead, Jake. It now gives you the capability to do nice sharp beam effect. You have your colors, you have your stamped gobo wheel, where I think it's several of them. You're talking about maybe 14, 16 or more of each of the colors and gobos. The gobos are all selected for nice shapes and patterns, so you can project a very long distance and get long throws out of the Visi Beam 12RX. With this, you also do get the wash. So the frost, it'll actually soften the edge of the beam. So now you can just take that and open it up like the way you're seeing there. And with this, let's talk about the prisms. The prisms are really amazing with this, where you get your linear prism, which is a 6-facet. Again, you saw the 6-facet earlier, where it creates kind of a vertical line. You can rotate. You get prism rotation, so you can rotate that in opposite directions if you wanted to. But also with this unit, we snuck in another prism effect, which is our 24-facet prism. So this is a remarkable prism effect. One of my favorites, and still in existence, is our Visi Beam RX1. That one amazed me with the 16-facet prism, but now we've upped it to a 24-facet in our Visi Beam 12RX. And again, with the Philips Platinum 12R lamp versus a 100-watt discharge, this has more power. So especially when you're breaking, especially when you're breaking up into 24 facets, you don't want to lose any output. You still want to get that nice kind of output, that nice wow effect. And with lamp-based fixture with a 12R lamp, you get that. Question?
Just a fun fact, if you look at the photometrics, compared to a 5R lamp beam style fixture, this unit is 20,000 lumens brighter.
Wow. So that says a whole lot. This is a lot more than just bang for your buck.
I forget if that's at 3 meters or 20 meters, but I forget what distance, but yeah, 20,000 lumens.
Great point.
That's a lot of power.
Oh yeah, lots of power. So gives you a lot of power, again, with colors, gobos, you have your wash, you have your prisms, a lot of effects. The Visi Beam 12RX is going to come in at a great price too. So again, if you're looking to replace outdated beam fixtures, the Visi Beam 12RX is something you're definitely going to want to put on your radar. This fits into a lot of applications. Obviously, we're focusing here on the nightclubs, lounges, bars, but the Visi Beam 12RX is going to be probably the beam fixture for ADJ that's going to be around for another decade in time, with all the bells and whistles that you're going to need out of a beam fixture. Not too much weight, and as you can see here again with these, we do offer very low power draws on them, so it's not going to be something that's going to be so reliant on power. So that's our new Visi Beam 12RX. And right next to me, we have another one of my favorite fixtures. I think every fixture is my favorite fixture, but they're all in different classes. So this one here is in another class. This is our Focus Spot 6Z. Now with our Focus Spot 6Z, this unit is great. It's a 300-watt LED lamp base fixture, not lamp base, but LED base fixture. And with this, you're talking over 10,000 lumens in output. It's very, very bright. I mean, just by standing over here, you can see just how much output is getting. Very, very nice throw. And as far as zoom on this, you do get zoom. So you can get from 9 degrees narrow, open up to 28 degrees. You do get focus. You have 7 colors. You actually have 2 color wheels. So you have a color wheel that has some of your primaries. And on your second wheel, you have your CTO, CTB, so you have your color correction. So if you wanted a warm white, CTO. If you wanted a cool white, kind of like the source it has right now, CTB. You get their UV. And again, 2 color wheels, so you can have some fun with color mixing, color overlaying. But you also have 2 gobo wheels. And what I like about this unit is usually when you have 2 gobo wheels, you had 1 static wheel and you had 1 rotating wheel. So morphing effects were cool, but somewhat limited because you had 1 wheel that was static and the other one that was rotating, which you can do a nice overlay on. But now with 2 independent rotating gobo wheels, now you have a gobo morph effect that now is more like an animation effect because you have 1 gobo rotating one direction, another rotating the opposite direction, and you use the focus channel to focus in and out from 1 gobo to another. It's just really an amazing effect you can see there in the other screen. But combine that with color perfect, combine that with some color, and again, with 300-watt LED light source behind this unit, it's giving you that really nice effect. This is our spot fixture, which does have zoom, but with this, you do have a motorized iris, so you can narrow this down if you needed to, but also a couple of frost effects. So with this unit, the reason for 2 is 1 is what we call a light frost, where it takes the sharpness of the gobo and just kind of softens the edge a little bit. Sometimes if you're using a particular gobo or effect, sometimes the sharpest gobo is not the thing that you're going to want to show. You want to create more of an accent. Having a light frost gives you the capability to do that. And again, it's all about just finding and programming whatever is going to work best for you. But then you get a heavy frost. So with this, now it turns this unit almost into a wash effect. And with the heavy frost, now you're talking about a completely softened edge, very, very wide area. And I'm just going to go over here really quick so you can see kind of what it's doing. So here I am, a fairly large guy. I'm trying to cut down a little bit, but it gives you the idea of how much area this light covers. This is 1 fixture. Now, we're talking about 30 feet here. Stages, if you're doing this at a venue, imagine this is the ground and this is how much of the ground you're covering. If you have a lot of people in your venue and you wanted to wash an entire crowd with not too many fixtures, the Focus Spot 6Z, because of its light and its heavy frost, it's a great solution for that. And again, colors, 2 color wheels, 2 gobo wheels, iris, 2 prisms even. We didn't talk about that, but you have a linear and a circular prism you can use with this. The Focus Spot 6Z just offers so much, and this unit comes in at a very nice price. Really nothing else that comes close to this price-wise with that kind of power and those marvelous effects. So that's our Focus Spot 6Z. Those are some brand new fixtures. We're almost to the end here, but again, if you wanted to see any fixture or any particular feature, we can do that for you. But now we're going to talk about our final element, and that is probably, I would say, one of the most popular and quickly became one of the most important elements in just about any venue and event. That is video. And video has come a long way. ADJ has now been a supplier of LED video products for over 5 years now. And we have just recently unveiled, released, now shipping some new LED video panels, and they are called our Vision Series. So behind me, we have a couple of our Vision Series panels. To my right, your left, is our what we call VS2. That's our Vision Series 2. It's a 2mm video panel. To my left, your right, is our VS3, which is a 3mm, 3.9 to be exact. But we won't get too deep into video, but now you're talking about why is LED video so important? What advantages do I have going with LED video? And why does it cost so much? There's a whole lot of questions that come into video. It's a can of worms that I'm going to get into right now. And the reason for that is when you think about an LCD television, you think about any television that you can think of, when you think about projection, you're limited to what that projector or that TV does. You can buy more TVs, create a grid if you wanted. Projectors, they I mean, unfortunately, it just seems like they become outdated within 2 years. LED video, when you think about, let's say, the 3.9 in our VS3, a 3mm video panel has now been, I would say, an industry standard for getting close to a decade. So as far as getting outdated, it's something that you don't really have to worry about. And the reason why there's different pixel pitches with video is you just got to imagine how far back the first person is going to be that sees the LED video, because the reason for different pixel pitches is the larger the pixel pitch means someone's going to be about 20, 30 feet back before the screen starts to look good, where the LEDs are non-visible, and it does mimic and look like a projection screen, where a very, very fine, tight, like our 2mm VS2, is great if someone is just like I am now, maybe 6 to 8 feet away from the screen, where I could still make out the picture, I could still make out text if it's on the screen. There's a bar in Georgia that has our old AV2, our first generation of AV2, and they did a nice rectangular area right behind their bar. And maybe, you know, it's up to me, I guess, but when I walked in, I thought they were TVs because they looked just that good. And the closer I got was until, you know, our friend told us, hey, those are your panels, those are your AV2s, and it just blew my mind. And they just looked so nice. They were showing some high definition sports on to the displays, and it looked great. And they split the screen, so they had on one side of the screen, you know, one game, one channel, and on the other, another game. Think about how you can add that, because with screens, with LED video, I would say video just in general, now you're talking about no limits. You can do anything from live TV, live camera, you could do projection, you could do visuals, all at your fingertips with using LED video. The limits are basically in your mind. Whatever you can think of, you can practically do with LED video. But one of the advantages with, I would say, LED video is, number one, you don't have to worry about ambient lighting. We have some very powerful fixtures on. In fact, we have our Hydrobeam X2, Hydrobeam X1, which are using lamp-based fixtures, both Osram lamp-based fixtures. I mean, to be exact, 380 watt discharge over there on my far right, your far left, right in front of the screen. And, you know, you could see that the screen is not, you know, any dim or dimmer than it should be, where if I were using projection, my projector would have to be over there. And if this light was shooting that way, now it's going to affect the way that my screen is going to look or my message is going to look. But by having LED video, ambient lighting goes out the window. Use it all you want. Turn on your lights. LED video is going to keep up. In fact, you might have to dim your LED video because it might be too bright. But that's the beauty with having LED video, because you have, with a program like Media Master, we chose to use Media Master because it allows you a lot of control. And with that, you have your brightness and you have your contrasting. Those are your go-tos. That's really all you need to really fine-tune your video so it can look good. Turn your brightness down, adjust your contrast, your video is going to look how you want it. If you have discharges, you might turn it up a little bit, adjust your contrast, and it's going to look just how you want it. We have a question.
So you started to get into it a little bit about talking about Media Master. We have a question asking, what kind of controllers do you need to use for LED panels, especially for segmenting a entire system? All
right, that's a great question. So we'll get into that too. So with LED video, it's really just 3 components. You have your panels, which is number 1. Number 2 is your processor. The processor is your brain, because on each one of these panels, I won't do the math right now, but let's take our VS2 for example. On one panel are a whole bunch of pixels. How many to be exact? 168 by 168. So imagine how many pixels that is. It doesn't take DMX. It doesn't take any other kind of controller than the processor, which is going to tell these panels, I am 7 across by 4 down, or whatever it might be, 6 by 4. That's where all that aspect ratio stuff comes in. But the beauty with the processor is it does all the thinking for you. So if you have 4 panels wide by 2 panels high, you tell the processor how it's wired, how many panels you got, and whatever you start to play, it's formatted already. And it does scale it. So Picture might not come out the way you want it, but that's where creating custom content comes into play. But for the most part, the scaler on our Nova products are going to help you out to where you can have live TV again right into one of our processors, hit the scale button, and now you're going to have whatever you're trying to project onto your LED video look decent enough for your event. So again, with this, it's real simple. You have your panels, you have your processor, and if you're not doing live TV, what we use, again, I mentioned Media Master, that is the server. So there's server, processor, and panels. The server will give you the capability of doing what you're looking for as far as if you have like a picture-in-picture. With Media Master Express, you get, I think, 8 or 12 layers. And just to give you an example, let's do a few layers. I have a visual playing. I have happy hour from 6 to 8 p.m. scrolling across. I have, let's say, my venue logo in the bottom right corner. I have, let's say, special event logo. If I have an event company, let's say, having their event at my venue, I have their logo up. So that's 4 logos or 4 layers that you have playing, and you have capability of doing a whole lot more. Now, let's take it a step further. That's just one display. I'm not saying you have to throw out your projectors, you could still use them because Media Master integrates with anything that sends out video, from televisions, projectors, obviously video panels, but you can use your projector and that could be another layer where you have something else playing. Because the beauty with Media Master, what it does is it gives you a canvas. I'll try not to go too in depth with this, but hopefully explain it in a way that makes sense. One panel, again, is 168 pixels. If you go 4 across, that's 4 times 168. So that's well under the 1920 if you're doing HD, 1920 by 1080. If you put one of these screens in there, it's probably only occupying a very, very small window of that display. So Media Master gives you the canvas. You're the artist, have fun, and just play your video on there. And again, with Media Master, you can also implement ClingNet products like our Allegro Z6. That could be a whole nother layer where you have a whole nother level of excitement going on. What I recommend, if you've never dove into it, just download Media Master. You can go onto our website, look up Media Master. It'll take you to a link where you could download the product. You could try it for free. It'll just flash demo mode. That's what I did when I first got into it because, you know, like anything, the best way to learn, just dive in. And Media Master, I would say, is very user-friendly. It gives you a platform where all of your video is like audio channels. So your video is up, you bring up the channel, your video is playing, and then from there you can do all your foregrounding, backgrounding, all that good stuff, effects. But we have another question.
I have a comment, and then I'll say a question after this. Just so you know, just so we could throw a number out there, that screen on the left with the AV2 has 423,360 pixels on it.
That's it.
That's a 5x3 right there.
Yeah.
And we have a question coming in, is what's the warranty on our video panels?
Oh, 2 years. And with LED video, or I would say any LED or lighting product, audio product, whatever, you're going to find out your issue or your, let's say, something happened during shipping. Unfortunately, let's say the trucker was driving a little wild and pellets were rattling in the back. You know, things happen. But having a 2-year warranty is peace of mind because you're going to find out most of your issues within the first 60 days, and that's really stretching it. It's usually about 20, 35. But you're going to find out your issues within the first couple months of having a product. And with a 2-year warranty, you're backed up by ADJ. We do a great job. Our service department, our service team is wonderful where, you know, forbid something happens. You know, we understand things happen, but to have a company that backs up their product for 2 years really offers our clients peace of mind, whether you're the installer, you're the user, whatever it might be. 2 years, call us directly, and we'll help you out. If you talk to one of our sales guys, our service team, you know, we're there for you. And to kind of go more on that, 2-year warranty, but as far as parts, you could still find parts for most of our units even after they're long gone. Let's say after they've been discontinued. We usually try to keep our products in line for well over 5 years, but for any sake, If the product is discontinued, you could still call us. And if you're looking for a bracket for a fixture, if you're looking for a particular part for a moving head, chances are we got it. So don't give up hope on your fixtures. 2-year warranty, again, for peace of mind. But again, we really back it up on the back end to make sure that you're comfortable with your fixtures, and we back them up all the way to the end. So that's pretty much it for video. Some key things, features to point out on our Vision series, just so you guys know, especially for nightclubs, bar, lounges, high refresh rate. What we did with our Vision series was we upped the refresh rate. What that means is, if you've ever been at a sporting venue or event, I've noticed this where, let's say I'm recording what happens. I'm a big baseball fan, so if I'm recording the batter, he hits a home run and I'm recording, now the screens are in the background, they're flashing and they're flickering, and that's just because of auto refresh rates that happen on your phones. Refresh rate is just something that happens. But now, for indoor panels to have a refresh rate of about 2400 hertz, it really gives you a lot of peace of mind to where not only is that going to look good for cameras, but we've upped that to make sporting events, live action events, live moving videos to look even better. Even with 1200 hertz on our original AV series, we had demos where pouring water into a glass was the deal breaker against our competition. And they looked at ours and it looked like as it should, rather than speckles going into a glass, because refresh rates weren't there. But now, knowing that we've doubled that to make sure that your video is going to look a lot more fluid and be able to handle, especially now you got 4K videos coming out, and all of these videos are a lot more demanding on your machines, what we want to do is make sure that the panels can handle it. So a higher refresh rate on our Vision series, as well as front serviceability, which for me was a huge, huge plus, because there's been a lot of times where, you know, if you install a wall, one of our video panels, you need access to the back door so that way you can do any service to it. But now with our Vision series, you can service the unit from the front. Like Jake had mentioned, thousands of pixels on one, and all it takes is maybe one guy that throws his glass or something happens and one of the pixels goes out, your whole wall isn't down. What you could do is you can have a module. These are all modularized, so you can have one module pop out. If you had a spare, pop the replacement in, send it to us. We'll fix it for you, send it back to you. But having modules, having serviceability in the front, rather than having to worry about putting this on some sort of mechanical rig where I have to, you know, wheel this in and out, now I can get to the unit from the front. So some big, big advantages with our Vision series. And again, for any more details that you might want to find out about our products, you can always go onto our website and check them out at adj.com. But I think that's, well, what time is it? Oh my goodness, I talk a lot.
Hour 22 minutes later.
I'm sorry, guys. I hope you guys were entertained. But again, I just want to thank you. And I wanted to dive into this to try to get your guys' minds off of, you know, what's going on right now. I wanted to get into it. But I, of course, cannot ignore the fact of the situation that's going on right now around the world. And we do understand that this is tough, especially for nightclubs, bars, and lounges, because, you know, our doors have to be closed. But if you guys understand what I'm trying to say, and if you can just hear my message that things are going to get better, and when they do, you're talking about all sporting events happening at one time. I myself cannot wait to get out of my house to go out and have a drink somewhere. There's anniversaries that are going to be late. There's going to be birthdays that are late. There's going to be so many events and reasons for people to want to go out. And now take this time to really know if there was a certain area that you wanted to take care of, if there was a certain maintenance that you wanted to do, now's your time. And with ADJ products, I have to say, honestly, they're such at an affordable price. It's really going to make sense. And just call us. We're willing to work with you to find out what kind of upgrades we can offer for your venue. But we're here to work with you, and we want to let you know that, you know, part of these, you know, live, you know, kind of webinars that we're doing, stay connected, is what we wanted to do. We want to just keep you all as a public informed, and more importantly, we want you to know that we're here for you and we're hoping for the best, and this is going to be all over soon. So thank you guys again for watching, and hope you all are safe. wash your hands, do all that good stuff, but let's get ready to party once this is over. Thank you guys.